So let's call the July meeting of the Batavia Township Board to order. And Troy, how would you like to lead us in the pledge?
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. And we'll have the clerk call the roll.
Paul Connett.
Present.
Tom Sharp.
Present.
Troy Chisana.
Here.
John West.
Here.
Lee Tracy.
I am here. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the June 13th meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as they are written?
So moved.
Been moved.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Sharp, I believe.
Yes.
Is there any questions? Corrections?
Look good.
If not, then let's have the clerk call the roll on approval of the minutes, the June minutes.
Chisana.
Yep.
Donnet.
Yes.
Sharp.
Yes.
West.
Yes.
Tracy.
Yes. And I move the supervisor's report up a bit, more than it's not in the usual place, so that it makes sense to talk about the bank statements and budget reports prior to approving the bills. So the bank statements are here. Just quickly, in the general assistance bank statement shows 2 ongoing general assistance cases with payments being made in June and July. And there are 2 emergency assistance cases during the month of June, totaling $392. All of both general assistance cases are rental assistance, and the emergency assistance cases are utility assistance. You will note that in the bank statements, we paid the catastrophic insurance to Allied Benefit Systems. The total annual premium was $2,360. Normally, we take it out of the general assistance, but there's not that much there. So what we did was to pay $1,000 out of general assistance, and the remainder, or $1,360, out of the general fund. You will note, most importantly, that there were deposits in the general fund and the road fund of property taxes from Kane County. So deposits in the general fund were $595,000 plus, in the road fund $263,000 plus. We will have additional deposits in this month and in August, so that by the checking accounts in August should show another significant increase as we get money from Kane County. Any questions about anything in the bank statements? Oh, I just want to mention too that in the general fund, we have now made payments to all of the social service agencies that we support. One check hasn't cleared the bank, but there's, in the budget statement, you'll see all $115,000 having been expenditure. It's having been spent. Any other questions about bank statements at all? We now have, in the budget reports, we're 1/4 of the way through the year. So theoretically, if everything was on track, we should have spent 25% of the budget. And the only, to date, the only problem is that it exceed that in the general fund, largely because we just expended all the general social service money, and in general assistance, the insurance was significant. All the other budget areas are considerably under 25% having been spent. You will note that the mental health 708 fund, what we plan to do, because although there's a levy for mental health. All of the funds for the tax that come to the general fund, so we have to write a check, so that there is, I believe, in the bills for payment, 1/3. What we'll do is pay 1/3 of the total, or $147,639 in July, August, and September. We make a check payable to the Inc. Mental Health Alliance. Okay, then the other problem is that although there's a general assistance levy, money is not deposited to the general assistance checking account. So what we need to do is transfer funds from the general fund periodically to the general assistance checking account in order to, provide funds for general assistance. Any other questions about bank statements, budget reports, and that sort? If not, then you have the bills. So do I have a motion to approve the general fund bills for July in the amount of whatever it is, $205,302.34.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any other questions, discussion? If not, then let's have the clerk call the roll on a motion for payment of the general fund and assessor's fund bills.
Okay, was Donna made the motion?
Yes.
And who seconded?
Wes.
Wes, thank you. Okay, Donna,
Yes.
Sharp,
Yes.
Toussaint,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Tracy.
Yes. And the road fund bills, we have a total amount of $17,613.69. Do we have a motion for the payment of the bills from the road fund?
So moved.
Moved by Sharp,
Second.
seconded by West. Any discussion? So let's have the clerk call the roll on the payment of the road fund bills in the amount of $17,613.69.
Sharp,
Yes.
Toussaint,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Donna,
Yes.
Tracy.
Yes. Next on the agenda, assessor's report.
Well, we're still waiting for the county to process our assessments, so we haven't published yet. Should be, I would say, a couple weeks.
We have a deadline for that?
No, we're supposed to have our assessment rolls in by June 15th, and a lot of us came in that last week, so they process in order as they come in.
Okay.
So it should be a couple weeks. Let's see. Riley is now not working here, like, she's working here but part-time. She is now the Blackberry assessor. She was contracted July 1st, so.
Yes.
Then we have a new field person who's here full-time. And this is his second week. And we'll see how that goes. Other than that, we're catching up on permits and sales. It's kind of the calm before the storm, I guess you say. So, gearing up for our phone calls in probably a couple weeks. Other than that, that's it.
Tell us about your new field person.
He's training. Right now he's sitting in the office doing plans. We gave him some. Well, Stephanie's only been here for a short time, and she's already training Carter. And he came from, he works for Country Financial Insurance, so he's measured, he's done the photos, and got that kind of experience. So real good with people. So he seems to be catching on. We gave him some like Tanglewood 5 home plans, and those are pretty big. So he's catching on.
Oh.
And we haven't had him out in the field yet, so we're showing him everything in here because we're training him to also multitask. So if we're getting a lot of calls and he's in the office maybe sketching or doing that kind of work, that he'll be answering the phones too. With that, so.
So is he the guy that replaces Riley? Or is there another
Um,
person that replaced her?
Stephanie was kind of that needed person. We haven't had, like, we had Mike, he's been our field person, but he's not really been in doing his job because he does construction work. And when that started getting busy, he got busy. So we've been lacking that field person. And we've been going out in the field when we can. So that kind of put us really behind and gave us a lot more work than we have time for.
So is there a person here that replaced Riley?
Let me just add.
Stephanie was trained by Riley to take on a lot of her tasks.
Let me just add that Riley's actual title was a deputy assessor. She is thoroughly qualified with all the requirements to serve as an assessor. No one else is in that position other than Tammy.
Correct.
Right.
So no one has replaced Riley because she's not replaceable with
Okay.
anybody
Not
who
yet,
is certified
Okay,
to be
so
in-
there's a person in her position.
No,
No, there isn't.
Okay.
Well, I'm
How,
training.
so is there an employee that came in when she left? Because you
No.
said she's still working here.
Well, Carter came in.
So is Riley still working here or is she
Riley-
full-time at the other place?
She's full-time, she's the assessor, but she'll be here because she's contracted. She needs the residency, she hasn't moved there yet. And with the contracted employee, things change drastically, but they can't pay her IMRF. And they didn't know that until they dug into it deeper. And
So she's working there, but she doesn't get IMRF. Is
So
that why she's
she's-
working here still?
yes. So she's,
Full-time?
yeah. She'll just come in when she can. She's been coming here in the afternoon.
Is she considered full-time here?
No,
Is she contracted here?
no. She's
She's
on.
part-time
she's a
hourly?
Part-time, yes. Yep. And she's coming in during the day. So if she has to do work at her other job later or on the weekend, that's what she has to do. And that's an agreement that they made.
Is there set hours here?
No. We're still working that out, but she will physically be here. She worked today, she came in, I think at 1:30 and stayed till 4.
So is she,
If she's working part-time, does she get IMRF here?
Yes,
Even though it's part-time, then it still covers her then, isn't that?
yes,
oh, you have to work so many hours a
yeah.
year. It's I think it's it's 600 hours.
650.
If you work 600, you have to take IMRF.
Okay.
If you don't work for that, you still can get IMRF based on your employer. But if you go over
Okay. So
600
she's
hours,
getting paid IMRF out of what she earns here,
Yes.
not there.
Correct. Otherwise, she wouldn't be contributing for,
So since she's a
Yeah.
contract employee there, she can work here.
Mhm.
yes.
Because if you are on the board here, you can't work another job for the township, like snow plowing.
Right.
So I'm just trying to make sure there's no conflict.
she's not on the board. She's an employee of the township.
So there's another person here that's taking over for her eventually?
Stephanie's in training.
Okay.
And she's interested in getting educated, so that
I mean, I
is
know
the
she
plan.
doesn't have the credentials to be replaced, but
Correct.
you say, you had, I don't even know how many employees you
You're
have.
saying the succession will be Stephanie will take her place eventually.
Yes.
And so you're going to hire somebody that would have less credentials than Stephanie underneath her to take her place if she does that?
No, I have Kelly, Kelly's part-time, and then Stephanie's full-time, and Carter's full-time. And with Carter being the field person and the helping in the office, we should be okay.
And you
they're-
said Carter's doing carpentry right now.
No, that's
Carpenter.
Mike,
That's
which I
Mike,
won't
I'm
have
sorry.
Mike anymore. But he's, how many hours is he working? 5 a month, that?
Yeah.
And that just doesn't cut it.
Yeah.
So I think this would be better for us to stay caught up and get
Okay.
more of that field work done. I mean, we need to go in neighborhoods and just take photos of neighborhoods. So we try to do it.
One more than I'm done. Does she get insurance from here?
She never has.
She's on mine.
She's on family's insurance.
She's not, she'll be 25 soon, so she'll have another year. But no, she'll get insurance from Blackberry. But the plan is to appoint her when she has residency. And then that, if she's appointed, I think things change versus a contracted employee.
And she would get insurance through them then probably, because
Yes.
she'd be considered full-time.
Yes, she will.
Appointed full-time.
Yes. So
That's all I got.
Anything else? How about a road commissioner's report?
It's been quiet, thank goodness. So, it's just going along as expected. The summer times when we fight vacations, somebody's always gone. Between us and Blackberry, they're down to 2 people this week. Our crews are working together. I think this is what happens every summer. You think you can really get a lot done, but you have a lot of time off from the guys.
So you gotta spread them around more.
Yeah, Joe was combine week yesterday. Scott, took a vacation day.
So
Works out.
you got 2 guys or 3?
2.
And you had 3 before? I can't remember, I'm just trying.
I had,
There were
I
2.5
had
for a
2,
while.
and then as Ben was getting fewer and fewer hours, I hired a 3rd.
So you got these 2 guys?
Yeah.
All right.
Basically, even when Ben was here, it was more 2 guys were working. But Ben got his dream, so I'm happy for him.
Any questions?
Grass doesn't grow, you don't need to mow it much.
Oh, I know, that's great, although it's rain,
Yeah,
now it'll grow.
this week.
So I don't see any public present for any public participation. The item of old business is regarding the intergovernmental agreement regarding an intern. The minutes of the last meeting will show that was tabled and for further action. So what I'd like to see is a motion to remove the approval of the intergovernmental agreement on internships with Aurora, St. Charles, and Sugar Grove. I'd like to have a motion to remove that from the table for discussion.
Okay.
I mean,
You want a proposal for that?
No, I
Remove
want
it?
a motion to take it off the
Take it
table
off
so
the
that we can
table,
discuss
okay.
it. Parliamentary procedure.
All right, we'll take it off the table,
Is there a second?
discussion.
Is there a
Second.
Okay, we need to vote on the
Well, let's-
motion to,
Why are we taking it off? Let's discuss first.
you can't discuss it unless it's up for discussion.
If you-
Table the
if-
discussion.
If
You
you've
can't
got a
fir-
second, don't you have discussion after that on what?
We have to
you're-
remove it from the table. Is that not correct, Lynn?
Where's the discussion for that?
Once it's removed from the table, then you can have discussion.
If there's a motion made to remove it and was seconded, then there would be discussion.
Yes.
Mhm.
I think we have to vote on the motion to remove.
Not until
Well,
discussion.
Should have a discussion on it, then vote on it.
You can't discuss it until it's up for discussion.
Why
All right,
can't we
fine.
discuss it?
Is
Why can't we just,
there further discussion?
yes.
Okay, what is the
Why are we
discussion?
doing this? Why are we taking it off?
So that we can pass the agreement. Because I would like to see the agreement passed because Aurora Township has already approved it, St. Charles has approved it. It is up on the agendas in Sugar Grove for this evening.
So-
I think it's embarrassing that if we have an agreement between 4 townships, and only 3 townships have adopted it.
I'm not negative towards agreeing to it. I was just trying to look for clarification of why we were doing this, is why I
Why
brought
are we
up the
passing,
discussion.
why are we having the agreement?
No, that's not at all it. Why, I couldn't quite understand why we were removing it. As I understand what you're saying is, you want to take it off the table because that's where we've placed it so that we can approve it. Is that correct?
So that it can be discussed. Can't approve it until
Okay, all right, I agree with that.
until there's a
Okay.
motion to approve it.
Right. I understand what you're saying now. All right.
Okay?
Oh, wait, I'm confused.
I'm going to assume that this is now up for discussion, and that's what we're doing.
Well, don't you have to vote
On
on
the
it
orig-
from the table?
Technically, we should, yes.
Okay.
All those in favor of removing it from the table for further discussion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's now up for discussion.
Then I move that we approve the intergovernmental agreement and the addendum to the intergovernmental agreement.
Okay? So there's a motion to approve the intergovernmental agreement along with the proposed addendum to the intergovernmental agreement. I'll just mention briefly that the addendum is there as a result of Van's suggestion that we have some understanding that the intern is not an employee, it's not an employer-employee relationship. And that compensation will be paid directly to the intern, he's not an employee, however. And further, that we will allocate a maximum of $500 for this purpose, $250 to be paid from the general fund, and $250 to be paid from the road fund. And that the internship will be administered, so far as Batavia Township is concerned, by myself, the supervisor. Any other discussion?
We need a second before we can discuss it. I just got a question about it. So I'll second the motion.
Okay, so the motion has been made by
Okay,
Donna,
so
seconded.
my question is, this intern is going to work on the state mandated information that we have to provide
Yes.
for our checking up on ourselves and how the
Right.
township is moving forward.
Right.
Okay, I'm in.
Any other discussion? All righty, let's have the clerk call the roll on the motion to adopt the intergovernmental agreement and the addendum to that agreement.
Okay, Donna,
Aye. Wes?
Sharp,
Yes.
Susanna,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Tracy.
Yes, so thank you. Now, I'm assuming that Sugar Grove will adopt it so that all 4 townships are now on board with this project.
If they're not, we continue to employ them and pay them at our rate.
We could. Sure. I'm sure that will happen. The next item on the agenda, we need to appoint Kim Tarver for a 4-year term to the Batavia 708 Board. Her term is expired. She is willing to continue to serve, along with Howard Katz, who's the president, Sue Kroll, who's the secretary, Nancy Hubbard, T.J. Vaughn, Nancy Murphy, and John West as the Township Board representative. So do I have a motion to appoint Kim Tarver to a 4-year term on the Batavia 708 Board?
I'll make the motion to appoint Kim Tarver to the 4-year term for the 708 board.
Is there a second?
Second it?
Seconded by Sharp. Any other discussion, concerns? If not, let's have the clerk call the roll on that appointment.
West,
Yes?
Donna,
Yes.
Sharp,
Yes.
Susanna.
Yes.
Tracy.
Yes. So, do I have a motion to adjourn?
No.
You don't want
We
to?
didn't have any chance for the trustees to say anything.
Oh,
I got a question.
Okay,
So we're going on the 27th. There's a group going to the training session in Rockford.
you and me.
It's already set. Is
Yes.
this you and I?
Just you and me.
Okay. Second thing is, did you put in for all of us to go to the annual convention?
I have not as yet, I will,
Okay.
because I wasn't sure who was going. Now I'm gonna just put
Put
everybody
us
up.
all in and they can take us off.
Fine.
It'd be easier to do that way. And then we hopefully won't get into what we did last year with not having the same place. I know it's not on you, it's on them, but
It's
Well,
hard.
it's
Big-
easy.
It's a big outfit down there.
It's
No.
a separate, it's a
You gotta
separate,
get it in early.
it's a separate process. You register for the convention, and then you do the housing thing after you register for the,
okay,
once they open it up.
okay. That's all I
We'll
had.
do it.
That's all I had. Thank you.
Anything else?
The meetings we're gonna have for the thing for Kane County that we're gonna turn in,
Mm-hmm.
when we're gonna start that up?
September,
That's starting in September.
yeah.
Is there for that, is the first meeting going to determine how we're going to lay the format out for this and how we're going to lay?
We've already had our
Yes.
first meeting. I think it was agreed that we would follow the general guidelines of the TOI suggestions.
So the TOI has a kind of a list, 3 or 4 pages long. And the way I envision it with my other highway commissioner guys is first go through and sort out which is appropriate for the general township and which are appropriate for the road district. There may be some that
Don't match.
don't apply.
Yeah,
Clean that up and then start going after answering and researching the questions to fill out. So this, again, this is just a guideline. It's not like every question has to be in detail filled out.
okay.
But I think we should go at it as, you know, kind of
I'm just wondering,
specialized.
I've got some basic questions associated with it that I don't understand yet. Who reads this, first of all? Tell me who reads this.
The report is filed with the county board.
So the county board receives this from all the townships?
All the units of government.
All units of government outside the municipalities.
And then what happens after that?
We don't know.
There hasn't been
Doesn't
any
say-
Don't
mandate to
know.
do anything.
Have you ever done this before?
No.
No.
So this is the first time?
It's an
Yes.
unfunded mandate. Somebody got to be in there about it. And,
Okay. How are we going to, I know one of the things we're going to do is brainstorming, right? Come up with ideas?
I will provide Chris and I will provide some leadership.
Again, I'll ask, are we going to do a brainstorming time period where we kind of come up with the ideas, or are we just following this guideline
No, we
that
can.
Chris has mentioned?
Well, I think the first one is to kind of sort things out a little bit, get all the information to all the board members, and then have some time to think on it.
Mhm.
In that next meeting, we should be ready to get into it.
Okay. How are things, if somebody comes up with an idea, proposal, whatever you want to call it, and people say, well, that's a pretty good idea. I like that idea. Is this, how do you go forward with that idea? Is it, if you think it's an idea and you're brainstorming at this point,
Decide
Do
how to
you-
implement the idea.
you would implement the idea?
Yes.
Are you going to vote on it? Is it majority rule for an idea like this, or what?
I don't think it's a mandate to put something together. It's more mandated to find out what you're doing and to either bury yourself because you're not doing anything, or promote the entity that you're doing these services for the constituents that you serve.
So the idea is just to identify how you could be more efficient. It's not to be more efficient. It's
Right.
to say, if we did this, we could be.
Or identify how efficient you already are. And there's some things you can't do better.
But what if I come up with an idea for the highway commission, or for the assessor, or for the supervisor
Then you
as part?
should make it and we'll put it in the discussion.
Okay, and the discussion, during the discussion, there are people there would be people that, let me give you a scenario.
Okay.
I think that, and you can enter Chris, or you can enter Tammy, or you can enter Lee. I think I won't even say it that way. I think the highway commission should, I think the assessor, I got this great idea for them to do this and this. And the trustees say, that's a great idea. But Tammy says, or Chris says, no, I don't want to do that. Is it majority rule? I don't know how you enforce something like that then.
There's no enforcement to it. It's simply a
Okay.
report, an investigation. What
Okay.
are the ideas, what are the
It's
things
not
we
a
want?
mandate.
What are the things we want to
Okay.
investigate? And so we've identified them, then we'll investigate them, then we'll report on what we find.
And what goes in is all three of those things that you just mentioned into
Yeah.
the report?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, for example, we will list the numbers of intergovernmental agreements that exist between the township and the road district. And these are intergovernmental agreements that we have with Blackberry Township, for example. And we'll list them, and they seem to make sense. Or another suggestion, this is, well, any number
For
of
our
things.
purposes, we would say, why don't you have an
Sure.
intergovernmental agreement that says such and such?
Sure.
And when we say that, it just goes into the report. It's not requiring anybody to make such an intergovernmental agreement. It's just, this is a great idea.
Yeah.
Why don't you do it, and then the county board can do what they do with it.
Right. I guess, yeah.
Okay.
So being on this board for a little while.
Yeah, give us your insights.
And
sir.
having read through the handbook a couple times, and not completely, just my area. The trustees are here to look over the bills and everything like that, and we can make suggestions, but we cannot mandate that any of the departments do
Right.
what we want.
Right, that's the way I understand it. That's why I understand
That's
it.
how I understand it.
I do too.
Now, if it's a valid idea that they would like to entertain and proceed with, good for them, and good for the board and the community.
It doesn't sound like, when I first heard about it, it sounded more like, what are you doing well and what are you doing bad, and let's improve the things you're doing bad, kind of a thing.
That's basically what this starts out with.
But it doesn't sound like it has any legs.
It doesn't.
It stops in Springfield and then dies.
No, it
Doesn't
stops
go
in
to
the county.
Spring-
Is
Doesn't go
that
to
true?
Springfield,
Well, I'm sorry,
doesn't
not
ever
even
go to
Springfield, it goes to
Springfield.
the county and dies. I said that wrong.
Well, we don't know. The county
You
board
would
may-
think that they're gonna make a report on it and provide that report
Yeah.
to the state
Yeah.
if the state mandated it. I would assume, but I don't know.
I don't know what's gonna happen.
We don't know
Like
the
they
order.
said, it's the first time, so.
Yeah, we don't, there's no pass to go on as far as history is concerned. That's
Right.
Okay.
Anything else? We'll make sure that there is a process, there's a plan, there's an agenda for what we want to do. We're not just sitting around chewing the fat. Anything else?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I second.
Good. All those in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The meeting is adjourned. We will meet again in August, second Tuesday in August.